Welcome back to Shennington for the Superprix and English Championships. It's the Minimax E-Plate up next. I hope you made your cup of tea during the break. Now would not be a good time to leave the room. This is going to be a cracking encounter. Always competitive, Minimax. And this should be no different. We've had drama so far this weekend. I think there's going to be more potentially in this race. There should be any one of 5 or 6 drivers can potentially win this. It's Owen Byatt that has the lead for Stevenage Sheet Metal. He'll be hoping to take the E-Plate to the next round of the British Championships he's competing in, but he's got a lot of work to do to get there as places are made up down the field. Leaders come towards us and it's Byatt that leads it from Tommy Foster there on the 53 in second place. Evan Cook's come through from 5th on the grid to P3 and got a nice little gap as well to work with. He can work on his own to catch the lead, especially if they start battling. As Foster looks up the inside of Byatt. If these two start battling for scrapping over the lead, then the man in 3rd place there, Evan Cook, will hope to close. In behind, it's Edmonds from Max Fenlon, then Holden, Hardy, Fenimore, Pugh and Bright. They were the top 10 across the stripe that time. But these are the 2 leaders. It's a nice little lead they have, isn't it, early on? You wouldn't normally get this sort of lead, 2 of you out front, and if they work together, they'll create an even bigger gap back to Evan Cook in 3rd. The 25 is Thomas Edmonds. In behind Thomas is 65, Max Fenlon. Paige Holden just going through the shot there. Made a place up going through the start-finish line at the start of the last lap, so through to 6th place. And started P10 as well, so it looks like Paige has got the pace to do some damage here, just going through the shot there. Rest of the drivers down the field, stream through Wilkins one more time. That's the 61 card of Oakley Pryor. Here's Edmonds for 3rd place up the inside of Cook, and looks like he's made that stick as the rest of the drivers come through the stripe for the start of this lap. Yep, there's Edmonds. Nice clean move through turn 1 up to 3rd place, so Cook there in 4th place. Leaders still out front as you were. 65 there, Max Fenlon. In behind Max is Page on the 50, looking good today. Into Bruno Ferrari chicane. Jensen Fenimore on the 88, looks like he's made a place up on James Hardy on the 11. Here's the battle for the lead though. It's getting spicy out front. Tommy Foster all over the back of Owen Byatt here again. We've already seen some last lap drama, last lap shootouts here at the Superprix. Don't forget, this isn't just a Superprix event, it's the English Championships, as we see Max Fenlon make a move for 4th place. So Fenlon looks like he's up to 4th. That will probably have helped Thomas Edmonds out. Yeah, look at that in the background. Edmonds is well clear now in 3rd place. But looking at the gap, that's a huge gap he's got to make up. But again, as I said earlier, this is the English Championship. The E-Plate is on the line in this race, and as I said earlier, 3rd place, you definitely want to make sure you hold on to 3rd place, because if these two start scrapping, as they will do, and end up in a tangle that takes them off the track, 3rd place can very quickly become 1st place, as we saw earlier in the TKM Extreme race when Jack Griffiths inherited the E-Plate from the drivers in 1st and 2nd who tangled up in the hairpin. Will that happen here? We'll have to wait and see, but certainly if you're in 3rd place, you want to make sure you stay there. And at the moment, it is Thomas Edmonds that has that 3rd place tied up, but it's Byatt out front from Tommy Foster. Edmonds coming under pressure now in the background. Here they come down to the Bruno Ferrari chicane. It's the 65 of Max Fenlon who's going to put him under pressure first. Paige Holden still right in the action. They're in 6th place and getting closer. These drivers at the moment will be looking at the 2 leaders out front, think we can't catch them, but they should realise it is the E-Plate. It's a one-weekend championship event. I said earlier, it's sort of win or crash, win or bust, effectively, so they want to put themselves in 3rd spot at this stage to at least inherit the win if the 2 start battling and tangle out front. But it's Edmonds that has that 3rd spot, and they can't quite get close enough to him. Evan Cook's still there in 5th, that's Holden. The 88 going through the shot is Jensen Fenimore. In behind Jensen is the 11 of James Hardy. Down to Bruno Ferrari chicane one more time. This battle pretty much as you were early on. Is Foster going to make a move? He's got to make the move. He doesn't want to leave it until too late in the race. He'd ideally like to have the lead with several laps to go and fend off the attentions of Owen Byatt. Both of these drivers running in the British Championships this season. They will definitely want to have that E-plate nice and shiny on their kart for the next round of the British Championships. At least it will denote them as the English champion, the very first English champion in Minimax. There's a lot of history at stake here. These drivers are quite young. I think the mums and dads probably appreciate the history more than the kids, as we see Paige Holden now up to 5th place. So come through to 5th for Paige, cracking performance. She wants to turn that into 3rd if she can and inherit the world if these two have a tangle. I was saying about the historical significance of these races this weekend, the very first English Championships, as we see Foster up the inside. That's the bid for the lead. It looks like he may have made that stick, and here's Holden for 4th. Another cracking move. One of the reasons this circuit was my son's favourite is because, as he describes it, there is overtaking on every single corner. Turn 1, turn 2, Cafe Corner. That's Harrison and Burbridge battling down the field. And you've got the left-hander. You can get the run up into this hairpin, the chicane, as you see Paige Holden in 4th place there, coming into Bruno Ferrari. You can move up, go up the inside at Bruno Ferrari. You can take the position in Bruno Ferrari itself up the inside. You've got the exit down to the right-hander at Hanger Bend, and then Wilkins. So that's as my son describes it anyway. He said absolutely you can overtake on every single corner at that track, and that's why this was his favourite. As we see, talking of overtaking, Max Fenlon making another move. I'm saying it's an easy track to overtake, of course, not necessarily if someone drives the inside line from halfway through the race, but anyway, I digress. You just see Owen Byatt there, he's just flipping up the flap, I think, on the radiator. All of these karts have got a data logging facility, a little screen on the steering wheel. Paige Holden creating a gap there from the karts behind. She's making her bid for 3rd place. All of the karts have got a data logging screen on the steering wheel, so the drivers can check a variety of things just by looking at that screen. One of those things is the engine temperature. They know what the optimum engine temperature is for running these engines, and they've got a flap on the radiator that they can open or close to either cool the engine if necessary, if they think it's getting a little bit warm, or close the flap if they need to get the engine temperature up slightly. It's got all sorts of other information, not least your lap times, sector times, all sorts of stuff these days that the modern kart driver needs to perform at the absolute top level in the sport. They're going to see the time when they go across the line. There's a timer above the start line gantry just on the left. There it is, around 23 seconds to go, so they know when it counts to 0 that'll be the last lap, so they've effectively got 2 laps remaining. Owen Byatt will not want to leave this to the last lap. He want to try and make his way past on this lap and then defend on the last lap. Look for the big switchback, here he goes, but that's good awareness by Foster. He knows where he is on the track. He'll go narrow now, he's driving the inside line, stops Owen Byatt coming down the inside. Now Byatt looks like he's getting a little bit anxious now. You're always going to be anxious when there's just over a lap to go and the man in front starts defending. Byatt's got to create a gap here and make the move. It's going to have to happen on the last lap. He may look for the move down in Cafe Corner or up in the hairpin. We'll have to wait and see. So Byatt goes wide through the stripe one more time. Has he got the gap in Cafe? He hasn't. Foster defends. Byatt's put in the fastest lap, but he hasn't got track position. That's Foster's as they come out of the left-hander. Onto Stratford Straight, looks like Byatt backed himself for the lead, and Foster on the back of Byatt, runs him wide, Foster up the inside, on the exit, they're side by side, down to Bruno Ferrari for the last time, 2 into 1, doesn't go, oh they're off, oh and Byatt's bounced off the tyres and he's carried on, unbelievable. Last lap drama once more in Minimax, and the man that could have inherited the win, and the 25 is off on the last lap's Thomas Edmonds. Max Fenlon it is that's through to 2nd place. We haven't seen how that happened, whether there's any last lap drama there amongst the chasing group, but it is the 38 of Owen Byatt with the Usain Bolt celebration who comes through to take the win. We'll have a look at the replay of that incident. They're side by side now. Foster's got the inside line, he's over the curb, and I can't think that Owen Byatt's done anything wrong there. He's just maintained track position. He had the centrepiece of tarmac. Foster it was that had to make the move up the inside. He went over the curb and the contact came as a consequence of that. After all was said and done, Owen Byatt, the new English champion in Mini Max.